And welcome everybody to the Huddle, KGUN9's weekly streaming sports talk show. I'm Jason Barr, not joined today by Pat Paris. He is on vacation. We needed two people to fill in for Pat. So with me today is Ryan Fish and Erin Patterson. And also today we have our special guest, and he is Roadrunners Forward Josh Doan. And Josh couldn't wait. I couldn't wait. I'm dressed in white. Josh has a white shirt. Couldn't wait till tomorrow because it's a whiteout at the Tucson Arena where Josh Doan and the Roadrunners will host Calgary in a best-of-3 series. Josh, thanks so much for taking a few minutes to be with us here in the Huddle. It's Jason, Ryan, and Erin. Oh, we lost Josh's mic for a quick second. Hopefully we'll get it back. Can you hear me? Hey, Josh, give a thumbs up if you can hear me. We had Josh there, we lost him. Anyway, we'll get Josh's microphone worked out. But for a second, hey, Ryan and Erin, you can hear me, right?
Yes.
Okay,
yes.
We're good.
We got you loud and clear.
We
did have Josh
straight away. You know what? Between us, it was just a coincidence. I had a white shirt today, but I thought I'd go with it. Of course, it's a whiteout. The Roadrunners are going to host Calgary in that best-of-3 series at the Tucson Arena. It's going to be the first time, Erin and Ryan, that we've had playoff hockey here in 6 years. And, you know, the way it works in the American Hockey League is, you know, it's a best-of-3 series. You might think, oh, well, okay, so Josh is now back with us. Josh can hear us all. Josh, say something so we can make sure we can hear you. I can't hear Josh.
You're so close.
He can hear me. We're halfway there.
Halfway there.
So anyway, what happens in the American Hockey League is instead of a team hosting and then another team playing and then going back to the team with a better record for Game 3, the team with a better record hosts all three games. So the Roadrunners will host Calgary Wednesday, Friday, and Sunday at the Tucson Arena. And, you know, based upon the crowd that we saw on Saturday with Fan Appreciation Night, it really should be rocking at the Tucson Arena for these 3 games.
And you have to wonder, with all of the kind of extra storylines built into this Roadrunners team, the Coyotes organization, you have to wonder how much even more passion and support that we might see at the TCC for this series, knowing the uncertain future of the Roadrunners and the now certain future of the Coyotes. Perhaps there's some fans from the Valley and the Phoenix area who just don't want to lose that taste of hockey quite yet. And there's some Coyotes who are coming back to the Roadrunners for this series, including Josh. And so there might be, even more of an emphasis than there would be any other year for a home playoff series.
Yeah, absolutely. I was at the game on Saturday night, and it was by far the most packed that I've seen it. And there were a lot more Coyotes jerseys than there were in the past. So I don't know if that maybe has something to do with it a little bit, but there were fans walking around with little sheets of paper with a QR code, signing a petition to keep the Roadrunners in Tucson. They said that they're going to send it to the AHL Board of Governors once they feel that they have enough signatures, but I'm sure that that's going to be continuing going on through the playoff games as well.
Yeah, and of course, the big story certainly with the Roadrunners. There was Josh again. Josh, can you hear me?
Yes, can you guys hear me?
Nice. All right.
There we go.
Hey, we're good to go. Okay, yeah, so I was joking, we're wearing white. It's a whiteout tomorrow. Hey, Josh, everything that's happened in the last week or so, how good is it going to feel to be playing meaningful hockey and be doing something on the ice instead of having to deal with all the off-the-ice issues you've had the last couple of weeks?
Yeah, there's been a ton going on off the ice, so to kind of get to calm yourself and calm your nerves by playing playoff hockey is always nice, and these are meaningful, important games, so you got to have your full attention on that.
And you mentioned earlier in an interview, I think it was last week, that you really want to win something for Arizona. Can you go into a little more detail on that?
Yeah, I played hockey in Arizona my whole life, so when you get an opportunity to win a championship or represent your state, then it's something special. And we got a group down here that's worked really hard together, and I want to win as a group with these guys, but it also means a little bit more to the Valley with everything else going on right now, and kind of a little bit of a proof that hockey can last and does belong in Arizona. So it's one of those things where you just kind of want to send everything off in the right place.
Josh, I'll ask you, I know you're focused right now on the Roadrunners and this playoff run, and it's right in front of us, and all of Tucson and all of the states behind you and excited for it. But if you can, just now that you've had a week since the regular season finale and a little bit of time to decompress, take us through the last few weeks as the whispers grew louder and then it became official that the Coyotes are relocating. What kind of emotions and thoughts were you going through the last few weeks here, and what kind of conversations were happening in the locker room?
Yeah, I mean, it was a pretty hectic couple of weeks for me. Obviously, getting the chance to play my first couple of games, so I was a little bit focused on that and a little bit nervous about that. And then the rumors started going around, and in the room, it was just kind of make sure we stick to our game plan. If we're going to move, send the team off in the right direction. Don't lose these last couple of games for them. Make it enjoyable for the fans and just enjoy ourselves. Obviously, it was a little bit emotional the last couple of nights, just with everything going on and being from the Valley, and it's still your hometown team leaving. But there's some excitement in the room to play for Utah and to get to Utah and see the fans there. Obviously, they're excited about the game, and they want to show that it belongs in Utah as well. So you got to be a little bit upset at times, but at the same time, there's so much positivity going to the new spot that you kind of got to look at it from both ways.
Jason Barr, Ryan Fish, and Erin Patterson here on the Huddle with Coyotes and Roadrunners Forward Josh Doan, getting ready for the playoffs, which begin tomorrow night at the Tucson Arena. Josh, how crazy is it a coincidence that the same thing happened to your dad after, I believe, 1 year in Winnipeg, and now you're going to go through it? What do you think of that irony, and what advice has he given you?
Yeah, it's pretty ironic that after my first couple of games, I'm going to be moving like my dad did, and it's one of those things where he's a guy now I can lean on for advice about this. Obviously, he's been there my whole career, but to get a chance now to do it again and lean on him and kind of ask him what it's like is going to be something that throughout the next couple of months I'm gonna pursue. Obviously, it's something where it's a unique experience and no one knows how it's going to kind of turn out, but it worked out the best for him when he played, and he raised his kids and his family in Arizona after moving from Winnipeg, and he's still in Arizona to this day. So there's an outlook on it where you kind of have to hope for the best and see what pans out.
And moving over to the Roadrunners a little bit, you've got some really good goaltending with Matt Villalta. He has 31 wins and is leading the league with that as well. So how important is it to have good goaltending, especially when it comes to the playoffs?
Yeah, it's huge. It's one of the biggest spots, obviously, in the game with goaltending. They basically play their own sport back there with how athletic and how much work that they have to put in. But he's been a rock for us all year, and he gives us confidence every game. Not only is he making big saves, but it gives you confidence to play your game and maybe make a couple high risk, high reward kind of plays, because you know that you can trust him in the back. And he does everything well for us, whether it's making saves or playing the puck up the ice. And he's an all-star, and he's been that for us all year, and we're happy to have him.
Josh, we talked about it a little bit when you were kind of in and out getting that mic figured out, but you've seen it both up in the Valley and here. And in the last couple of weeks, with everything going on around the organization, what is your response to what the fans' response has been, what they've said to you, and both in the arena and outside of it, what the community has said to you about hockey and about this organization? What's your reaction to all of that?
Yeah, they've been unbelievable to me and my family since I've been a kid. But the last couple of weeks, it's been pretty special. I was at the game Friday and Saturday watching the Roadrunners after coming back down, and the support that I got while I was there, and people coming up to me and fans coming up to congratulate me on everything and wishing me the best in the future, and saying that they hope the team could have stayed, but we hope we have a good time in Utah. And even you see the last couple of games, how many signs there were, and how long people stayed after the game to support us was something special. And I mean, as a kid being from here, you wouldn't expect anything less. They've been amazing since I've been a kid. So it's one of those things where you really appreciate what they've done, and you hope the best for them in the future, that they get a team back in the Valley.
Josh, this Roadrunners team was 6-0-1, or unbeaten, I should say, in the final 7 games of the regular season. Now you add Dylan Gunther, Jan Unique, a couple of others, Connor Geeky. How loaded is this team for the playoff run, or is it a little bit of a challenge to integrate the players maybe now coming back down from the Coyotes to what was kind of working here before? Which way should you look at that?
Yeah, I think you kind of got to look at it both ways. Obviously, it's exciting when you see how well they were doing before we all got back down here and added a couple more pieces. But if it was a different type of player that we were bringing in, where we're bringing in guys that have a little bit of a softer skill and don't like to play hard, then it would be a problem. But you look at the way that Kess and Guntz and Geeks play, they're they're hard-nosed guys that work hard and get to the dirty areas. It doesn't matter what league they're in, they're gonna show up for you and they're gonna play hard, and that's something our group takes a lot of pride in. And the guys that have been around the last couple of weeks, they've kind of carried the ship a little bit. So it'll be nice to see if we can take some of the weight off their shoulders and kind of come together as a group here. But we had a good talk today that they're not expecting us to come down and be heroes. They're expecting us to come down and play our game and join the group and just have a good time.
And going off that, has the transition back to Tucson been difficult? Have you guys, or just picked up like nothing ever happened?
Yeah, we got a great room. So when you have a good room, it's pretty easy to pick up where you left off, and when the guys keep it light, and we have unbelievable people in that locker room, and that's been the best part of this team and playing in Tucson, is that they've brought in really good people, and when you have that, it makes it easy to come back down here and fit right back in. So every practice has been fun, light, easy going, and when it's going like that, then you kind of find your stride pretty quickly.
Josh, naturally, fans are going to think about also the future of the Roadrunners. I know that's still up in the air. From a player perspective, how feasible is it, would you think, to have a team play some games in Tucson and some games in Tempe? Is that something that you could foresee happening? I know you yourself won't be here. You'll be with the Utah club, but for someone on the Roadrunners, would that be a feasible situation? How would you see that playing out as a player?
Yeah, it's one of those things where it would be a little bit difficult, I think. Obviously, it's so up in the air with what's going to go on. So as a group, we've taken a look at it and talked about it, but at the same time, it's the same thing where we want to win some hockey games here for the fans in Tucson. Obviously, they've been huge for us all year, and the guys love living in Tucson. So it's one of those things where it's a win-win scenario right now. Obviously, Arizona's a great state, and Tucson's been home for a lot of these guys for a while. So it's one of those where, yeah, it could probably work. It might be a little bit more difficult. I know there's a couple teams in the league that have their game rinks about an hour and a half away from where they play and where they live and practice. So it's one of those where you can make it work. I don't know if it's the easiest thing all the time or the easiest even for the fans to go back and forth, but I'm sure there's a lot of possibilities and solutions that they're looking into.
We're here with Josh Doan. This is Jason Barr, Ryan Fish, Erin Patterson here on the Huddle, KGUN9's weekly streaming sports talk show. Josh, last one for me. It's a whiteout at the arena tomorrow against Calgary. Do the players and the coaches really feed off that? When you see all the white in the arena, does that really make a difference, or is that something just more for the fans, would you say?
Yeah, I think it's a little bit of both. Obviously, as a kid, the Coyotes would do the whiteout, and I thought it was the coolest thing ever. And it kind of brings the group together and unites the fans. And when everyone participates and shows up like that, it does do a little bit for the players to feed off that energy and see the support that the fans want to be a part of the team and want to be a part of the group, because that kind of unites us as one. But it's one of those things where the cowbells and the fans have been unbelievable here for us all year. So when the whiteout comes, and I'm sure they'll be giving out towels or shirts or something as well, and it just brings a new atmosphere to the arena and the building, and it makes it feel a little bit different. And that's part of the playoffs is kind of building off stuff like that and finding ways to get momentum, and that's probably the best way to do it out of the gates, is having your home ice advantage with the fans.
And as someone who grew up playing hockey in the desert, do you think all of these changes with the Coyotes and potentially the Roadrunners could trickle down to youth hockey?
Yeah, I think obviously it might play a little bit of an impact, but the game has grown so much in Arizona now that it's had some headway, and once it gets rolling, it's hard to stop it. Obviously, we got a lot of guys in the NHL now, and guys that are coming up from Arizona, so it's already made its mark in the state and the valley, and the kids love the game here. So it's made enough of an impact already to where I can't see it really slowing down, but it'll be hard for a couple of years, I think, for this younger generation, the kids that are going to grow up without seeing the Coyotes. But I think hopefully by the time they get a new team, then it'll pick right back up.
And Josh, just what is your message as you're about to embark on this hopefully long Calder Cup run with the Roadrunners? What's your message to hockey fans in Tucson and across the state that are coming out to support?
Yeah, just enjoy it. We got a fun team, and a team that likes to play a fast-paced game. It's one of those things where playoff hockey's, in my opinion, the funnest part of sports to watch, and you see how intense it can be in the NHL. It's not going to be much different. You get a chance to watch it in Tucson. So obviously we appreciate all the support we get, and we'd love to see a packed barn on Wednesday and Friday.
Josh Doan, Tucson Roadrunners Forward on the eve of their first playoff game. Thank you so much for joining us here on the Huddle. Arizona Coyote, Tucson Roadrunner, and now future Utah, whatever they're going to be next year, Blizzard or whatever it's going to be. We appreciate a few minutes. We're looking forward to watching you tomorrow night and the Roadrunners take on Calgary and hopefully what might be a long playoff run and the team rallying around a cause. I think it's going to be a special one. You got a great group, so I know we're all looking forward to watching you guys this week and hopefully in the weeks to come. So thanks so much for a few minutes here on the Huddle.
Yeah, thank you so much, guys. Appreciate it.
Have a great day. Yep.
Well, Josh.
All right, that was Josh Doan of the Tucson Roadrunners. Nice enough to join us. It was good to hear from him. And, before we go any further, Ryan and Erin, let's introduce today's Huddle poll question. We normally do this at the beginning, but thought this would be a more appropriate time now after our interview with Josh Doan. Should the Roadrunners play half the season in Tempe? Ryan, I think it was you who asked about this. It's been brought up by the owner, Alex Morello. First, he said he was going to maybe move the team to Tempe. Then he kind of heard some backlash. Well, maybe part Tempe, part Tucson, right? That'd be, I thought Josh gave a good answer. That'd be kind of tough. What do you live in, two places? So anyway, that's the Huddle poll question. And should the Roadrunners play half the season in Tempe? So everybody listening and watching now can go vote at kgun9.com/poll. 3 choices. That makes no sense. This is Tucson's team, or maybe some select games. Erin, we'll start with you. Where would you vote on the poll here?
I would have to say that it makes no sense. I mean, it would be, it would be so hard to put them in 2 different arenas, especially because, you also have to think about the fan aspect of this as well. You've got the Tucson fans here that have been fans since 2016, and now you're saying, okay, well, for half the games of the season, you're going to have to drive 2 hours up to Phoenix or Tempe. And then
Erin, do you think they would get big crowds in Tempe from the Phoenix area for American League hockey? I mean, to me, a major city that just lost its major team is not going to be thrilled about going to see a minor league game. It's different if you're in New York and you're seeing a short season A team and it's, the Coney Island or whatever. But I don't think fans in Phoenix want to see an AHL team.
I would agree with you on that. I don't think that, when Alex Morello made that first statement and then he backtracked a little bit on it, but when he first made that statement, there was a lot of backlash from Tucson. We know that, but there was backlash from the Phoenix Tempe area as well, because you're going to replace this NHL team with an AHL team. It's not something that they're used to. It's not something that they really want to see.
Right. And Ryan, I'm going to go maybe some select games. Once a month.
I was also going to say see.
Yeah, that's all they should get.
Just to have, I guess, I think I believe this was floated as an idea to continue just to have a hockey presence in the Valley in some way to keep.
Yeah, that's what Morello said. He's like, I just want hockey.
Maybe you can do that.
Yeah.
Maybe you could do that with a few games. And see, another point, just to point out what you were talking about, not only is it perhaps insulting or just a little bit awkward to have an AHL team replace your NHL team, it's also the AHL developmental team for the franchise that just left.
That's a good point.
You would be going to watch games for players that once they get good enough, they will then leave Phoenix again and go join the Utah club that just left. So that's the other undertone of all of this is Coyote fans not only feel like they've been burned, we lost our team, all the good, young, promising players like Josh, you'll now get to see them fully blossom and become superstars and this team become really good as soon as they move to a different city. And you're going to get a kind of that same result with an AHL team then feeding into that Utah team. So anytime a player gets good, they're going to leave and go to Utah just like the team did.
Especially because I think that Utah team is going to be really good
next
year. And that Coyotes team reminds me of the Suns team that was in the bubble, that won really a lot late in the year, then went to the finals the next year. Not that the Coyotes, that team's about to do that, but also even the U of A football team that was 3-3 and then won 7 in a row. It looks to me like a team that's ready to break out. That's what that team looks like. Makes it all the more disappointing. So that's an interesting point. Yeah, I don't think that's going to fly for half the season. I think if you want to play, select games, Erin, I'm good with once a month. Once a month they can play in Tempe, 6 games.
Mm-hmm.
I would also tend to go that way. We want to, you know, I understand the appeal of having a hockey presence, a professional hockey presence in the desert, in the valley as well. But this is there's more layers to this than just let's go to the bigger market or let's replace where the Coyotes were playing and have a rink open, you know, playing where they were.
And we're talking fun here, but there's also a lot of business involved, Erin,
Yeah.
right? You got the situation where you got the Roadrunners leases 2 more years in Tucson. You got the lease at the Bolt Arena, I think, is for 1 more year. So there's other things definitely, you know, at play here that have got to be worked out. But at the same time, it's got to be worked out pretty quickly because they're going to be making schedules for next year before too long. We're several months into the calendar year.
Yeah, and the issue with all of that business side of it is that obviously, like you said, there's the 2 years left at TCC and there's the 1 year left at Mullet. The issue with the Mullet contract is that it is an NHL contract. So there's a chance that an AHL team will not fill the requirements of that contract. I don't know. I'm not a lawyer, but that's just kind of what it seems like. But I also spoke today to Glenn Grabsky, who is the general manager at TCC, and he is still yet to hear from anybody from Alex Morello and his team. So like you said, if they want to do this, they're probably going to have to start reaching out in the next couple of days if they want to actually make this a finite plan.
I know Morello said last week he hadn't talked to ASU when you were at that press conference, Aaron.
Yeah.
He hadn't had contact at that point.
Yeah.
So,
and I think that is
this all
what
came
caused
together
the
quickly. This
whole-
move to Utah too. This wasn't in the works for a while. I think they started on this in March 6th. Was it that?
Yeah. So Morello was first brought the idea March 6th, and he originally turned it down, no, and then time went on and whatever happened. But yeah, he was saying at that press conference that he hadn't spoken to anyone from ASU, anyone from Tucson, yet he's coming out making all of these statements, and he wonders why he got backlash.
Right. All right. Well, I'll tell you what, I'm looking forward. Erin, we'll see you at the game tomorrow night, probably reporting live on the Roadrunners game against Calgary. Thank you, Erin and Ryan. Thanks for filling in for Pat. We should have gotten a picture from Pat. He's on, should we say he's on vacation and he's somewhere warm right now, although you could be warm in Tucson.
I was going to say,
You're going to go somewhere warm. If
It's
you live
not
in
enough
Tucson
here.
and you're going to go somewhere warm, do it in December, right? Or the first week of January, which is really like the only week of winter we get. It's like
sometimes you want a little change of scenery, I guess, just to get away for a bit.
there's that
Temperature-wise, though, probably not a ton of difference.
No, it's probably cooler where he is, especially the last couple of days. All right, for Erin Patterson, Pat Paris, and Ryan Fish, I'm Jason Barr. This has been the Huddle, KGUN 9's weekly streaming sports talk show. Thanks so much for watching live and on replay on OTT. We appreciate it, and we'll be right back here same time next week.